Units of work and third-generation tasks. Designing a unit of work under the Estaire and Zanon framework by Alejandro Goiz Uribe. The current assignment has 4 objectives. To design a unit of work based on the Estaire and Zanon 6-stage framework, and for it to use third-generation tasks. In order to accomplish these objectives, we need to first understand what a unit of work is, understand what a third-generation task is, understand Estaire and Zanon's framework, to finally present the design unit of work and the results from a real-life class. According to Estaire and Zanon, a unit of work is a series of class hours centered around a theme or interest area that develops students' ability and knowledge to do something in the foreign language which they were unable to do before, or do something in the foreign language better than they could before. A unit of work's main characteristics are that it takes from 3 to 5 class hours. It is constructed as a coherent sequence of interrelated tasks which lead to a previously defined final task. Students are required to learn new language or to lean on previous acquired knowledge, and it definitely allows for ongoing evaluation. A first-generation task is one that is primarily aimed at developing communicative abilities in a specific area. A second-generation task is one that focuses primarily on content, procedure, and language, requiring the use of general cognitive abilities. In such a task, language is approached globally, not sequentially. A third-generation task is aimed at developing the student's personality through the use of language. This includes a high degree of task's authenticity, globality, and integration with the student's personality, experience, and knowledge. Creativity is an important factor to bind all of the elements mentioned above. Estaire and Zanon's unit of work framework is a proposed 6-stage model for teachers to use while planning a unit of work. It is a clear and practical model for teachers to use. In the first stage, the teacher will determine the theme or interest area. On the second stage, the teacher will determine the final task, which is the one that will guide all of the following stages. On stage number 3, the teacher determines the unit's objectives. In stage number 4, the contents are specified. In stage number 5, the process is laid out, alongside with all the materials and structure for the unit. In stage number 6, the teacher plans for all the instruments and procedures for evaluation of the process and product. Now let's look at our proposed unit of work. Determining the theme. In our case, our unit name is Likes, Dislikes, and Preferences. It is aimed at an audience of adults following the beginner level of English. The unit of work proposed develops over a period of 4 sessions, 1 hour each session. Our final task. In our case, the final task is to write a paragraph expressing elements that the student like from the categories music, sports, food, cities, jobs, types of food, and pastimes. The student will have to state his or her favorite in each category. Finally, the student will have to read out loud his or her paragraph and discuss it in class. Our objectives for this unit of work are to learn how to express likes and dislikes, to learn how to make do and why questions related to people's likes and dislikes, to learn how to express personal preferences, and to be able to group elements, nouns or gerunds, by specific categories. The content, divided by session, goes as follows. On session 1, we will deal with likes and dislikes in the present simple affirmative and negative forms with nouns. In session 2, we will look at likes and dislikes with gerunds. We will also take a look at vocabulary about sports. In session 3, we will look at vocabulary on reasons for people to like or dislike things, and we will deal with do and why questions. Session 4 will deal with expressing preferences and our final task. For our first session, we will introduce the topic, showing our students the use of the verbs like, love, and hate in their affirmative and negative forms. Several examples will be used. We will go then to exercise number 1, where the student will be asked to complete the sentences using the correct conjugation for the proposed verbs. On the second exercise, we will work with the negative form of the sentences presented on exercise 1. Exercise 3 will deal with matching columns, making sense and being coherent. Session 2 will begin with a vocabulary list of sports, games, and activities. It will be followed by the use of the verbs like and hate and love with gerunds in their affirmative and negative forms. Examples will be provided. The first exercise will be an audio file followed by comprehension questions. Exercise 2 will deal with a text out of which we will extract several questions, and the student will be required to respond to them. Session 3 will begin as well with a vocabulary list. We will provide some adjectives that can be associated to reasons for people to like or dislike things or activities. We will then work with do and why questions in order for the student to be able to learn about people's likes and dislikes. Exercise 1 of this session will deal with why questions. Exercise 2 of this session will require the student to answer freely to specific questions using the vocabulary learned at the beginning of the session. Finally, we will go through a list of vocabulary dealing with types of music. Session 4 will deal with expressing preferences by using the adjective favorite. We will also use the conjunction but in order to join two clauses. On exercise 1, we will go through an audio, questions, and new vocabulary. This audio and its transcript will be the base for the final task of the unit. The final task of the unit will require the student to write a paragraph expressing elements that he or she likes from the categories music, sports, food, cities, jobs, types of food, and pastimes. They will have to state their favorite in each category deliver a draft for review, and then read the paragraph to the class out loud. Finally, the assessment will be done according to the following criteria: relevance of the content, coverage, coherence, and pronunciation. Let's listen now to two of the students presenting their final tasks for the unit of work.
I like music a lot, but my favorite is rock and disco. I like lots of sport. I hate soccer, but I love volleyball, and my favorite is baseball. It's great. I like food, and I don't do a lot of cooking. I love pozole, but cochinita pibil is my favorite. Though I don't eat it very often. I like to visit small towns. I love places with rivers and mountains, but I love more their traditional food. Puebla, Oaxaca, and Chiapas are great places. They have a lot of culture. All three states are my favorite. I am a doctor by profession, currently retired, but now I am a businesswoman. My favorite type of food are Mexican. A great place for Mexican food is the Fonda Mama Conchita in the Colonia Roma. I do very little exercise. I do aerobics and yoga 5 days a week. But my favorite is the plank. I share some hobbies with my grandchildren. We play computer games together. I love playing Bomberman. My favorite pastime is singing.
I listen to music a bit during the day. I like 60s music. I like different types of music, but rock is my favorite. Sports are not my favorite activity, but I like swimming. It is fun. I like food and I do a lot of cooking. I like to cook things that are easy and fast. I love beef, but salmon is my favorite. I don't eat it very frequently because it is very expensive. I love visiting lots of cities around the world. I like New York. Paris in France is beautiful. Dubai in United Arab Emirates is great. But New Delhi in India is my favorite. It is incredible. I like Chinese food. I love Italian food, though my favorite food is Mexican. I like chilaquiles and quesadillas. My favorite pastime are to take photos, do puzzles, and go on vacation.